strokes, those lines.
Yeah.
You good? Okay. Hey, this is Sal with Salvatize Hair Care Products, and this is the home of the Healthy Hair in 5-Day System. It is Sunday. My boy Anthony's behind the camera. This is Nicole. Nicole has been gracious enough to be patient with us and me. We're dying to work on her hair and talk to you and share with you what's going on with her hair. I gave her products several weeks ago, and she has not used them yet, and I'm so thankful because now I can really consult with her and talk with you about what's going on with her hair, and maybe you can learn some things. We're going to be talking about products, we're going to be shampooing her hair, so we've got a lot of stuff to do, so we're going to get to it right away. Let me first of all start by just brushing your hair gently and talking with you about what you shampoo your hair with now. What do you shampoo your hair with right now?
Pantene Pro V.
Okay, Pantene Pro V products. Do you shampoo every day?
Just about, yes.
Okay, 2 lathers or 1?
1.
Okay. Do you wrap your hair in a towel when you get out of the shower? Okay. And do you lose hair?
Yes.
I can agree with that because I just put a comb through your hair and I've gotten some pieces that have come out. So
Yeah.
the 5 basic questions that make up the Healthy Hair in 5-Day consultation are the following. What do you wash your hair with? How often? Do you use 2 lathers or 1? Do you wrap your hair in a towel? And do you lose hair? In this case, 3 out of the 5. So basically, what we want to first of all point out to you that the state of her hair. First of all, Nicole, I want to just tell you that the fact that you're losing hair is not a good thing, and you know, and it's a concern of yours. Remember, we talked about that. It was very much a concern of Nicole's that she was losing hair. That's the bad news. The good news is we're going to get it to stop,
Okay.
and all of those hairs you lost are going to come back.
Okay, great.
Especially up in here. I know this has been a concern of yours, like up and through this area, and also back in here, the hair is getting a little bit finer and thinner. She's got a fine texture of hair with a good amount of hair, but if it continues to do what's happening here, over time, 5 years, 10 years, she's going to end up with a much thinner head of difficult to style hair. And I'm also, folks, reading from my teleprompter. The next thing that I want to talk about is your facial shape. In the salon, and if you go to your own salon, you want to make sure that your stylist is talking about your facial shape. Now when you look at someone's facial shape, you look quickly at it, you don't stare at it. So if I were to cover her face and look quickly and cover again, I'm looking for the overall shape that's predominant. In this case, it's length. Her hair tends to be longer, her facial shape tends to be longer. So when I create a style for her, I'm going to try to offset that by creating width to the style. So if you've got a long facial shape, you want to go wide, okay? So we're going to create width, which is tough to do right now because your hair doesn't go out, right? It goes down, okay? So by changing the product, you're going to inherently get more lift at the scalp where she needs it, and that'll constitute and give her more width to her overall style. Now that's the first part. The second part, you look quickly, and we look for whether we see curves or angles, sharp angles. Do we see a round shape predominantly, or do we see sharp angles? Now as I look at her hair, or her facial shape, I see some sharp angles. I see it here in the jawline, her nose area. What that means is I don't want to create more of a boxy shape to her style. I want to create something that's got a little bit more of an oval offset, which is going to complement her features. If you've got really sharp facial features, high cheekbones, strong jawline, you don't want a square haircut or a boxy style. You want a more oval or rounded style, which is also tough for her to get because of the state of her hair. She's not able to get that curvy, rounded style. What do you style your hair with? Like, what do you do with it? Like you
I
blow dry?
blow dry it and then I use a Qi flat iron.
So you flat iron it to try to get a smooth look.
More smooth, yeah.
Okay, is it a battle? Is it easy to do?
It's a battle.
So if you flat irons, does it stay? Or
Not usually.
it reverts. So you're battling, and so you've got hair that's coming out, that's frustrating. The hair probably takes kind of long to dry.
Yeah.
Okay, a long time to dry, and it shouldn't because it's fine.
It retains
And
a lot of water.
it does retain water. And then you're trying to flatten it, and as you're flattening it, you'd hope to be able to do it a couple times and be done with it, but maybe the results kind of aren't worth it. So as far as facial shape's concerned, again, we've got a predominantly longer shaped face with angles, so we're going to do a wider kind of rounded style on her when we ultimately do cut her hair into a style. The next thing I want to talk about or look at is the fact that her hair is fine. Now, a lot of people out here, when I ask them if they lose hair, say, well, I do, but my hair is very thick, so I can afford to lose hair. That's really not the case. A lot of folks, their hair has become finer and thinner over time, and it just feels as though it's thick, but it isn't. It's just swollen. What Nicole's got going on here is her hair is really fine. We don't want to move it to a thinning condition, but as I brush through it, I don't know if you can see this or not, but you see the amount of static electricity that's going on in here? This is something that will be correcting itself by changing the product. Static is a condition of hair that's in a distressed mode. If you've got static electricity, which she does, that is a condition that can be corrected with better products. So finer texture of hair, very pretty hair. She does have highlights. Your hair is really going to be an amazing, it will change and do some amazing things once we get it to be as healthy as it can be. Yeah, it's going to work really well for you. Moving on to my next section, I want to talk about the state of her hair. The state of her hair right now is the hair shaft itself is swollen. It's twice the normal size. When at first, that's not bad for Nicole if her hair is like that, because she does have fine hair. So if her hair's doubled in size, that's a good thing. The problem is if it stays in that condition, it then stretches out and you lose elasticity. And that's what we talked about. She said her hair doesn't turn, it doesn't flatten because the elasticity is gone, which makes her lose control. In addition, because she uses one lather, right?
Yes.
One lather, what's happening is when she shampoos once, she's lifting things off of the scalp and then she's laying it onto the hair itself. So the hair has a bit of a coating, which is a challenge for your highlighting person, right? Of trying to get the colors to be really pale blonde and really light. So that's the other part that we've talked about. I can also tell you, you said your hair tangles when it's wet?
Yeah.
Did I ask you that question?
Yeah.
If your hair really tangles when it's wet, you've got a pH issue. pH out of balance is a head of hair that's really tangled or has a slippery feel to it. I don't know if it has a slippery feel or not because it's not wet, but if it's really heavily tangled, your pH is out of whack, and I'll give you some tips on how to control that. We talked about the hair loss issue, which is a big thing, a big deal for us. We always talk about, and also talked about the fact that the hair is unmanageable. This amount of hair should not take a long time to dry. So what we're going to do, we're going to take Nicole over to the sink. Before I do that, I want to just brush through this gently, very, very gently, to just to get a feel for. Does that hurt?
No.
Okay. I want to just get a feel for what's happening. Again, we got some thinning areas here, which will stop. That's a good thing. You don't want to have someone that's this young start to lose hair. And I see all these pieces. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But all of these pieces, these short pieces, are the pieces that are in the most distress and what are going to be coming out. Keep in mind, when you lose hair, excessive shedding due to products and the wrong techniques, the hair that you're losing is new hair. It is not old hair. And we don't want new hairs coming out. We want them to stay and become the overall thickness. That's the bad news. The good news is that you will be growing back all of the hair that you lost, and you will stop that excessive shedding, and you're also going to get more control in just a very short period of time. I also want to note, when I'm brushing this hair in this condition, I'm being very gentle because her hair is in a very fragile state right now. Within 5 days, using our product, the Healthy Hair in 5-Day System and Salvatize Hair Care products, the hair will become really strong. And when I brush this hair in 5 days, I'm going to take a big heavy brush and I'm going to be brushing it in every different direction that I can, because the more I pull on that healthy hair, the healthier and stronger it will become. But right now, we've got to be very gentle because it is in a fragile state. So what we're going to do now, we're going to move over to the sink. Give us a few minutes for my boy Anthony to tear down the cameras. We're going to move over to the sink area. We're going to shampoo her hair. And we're going to see the hair in its truly compromised state. Thank you for allowing us to use you for that. Before we put the moisturizer on, I really want to demonstrate how to use the products over at the sink. So we'll see you in just a couple minutes.